Hey friends, it's Ryan with Arrows of Love. Hope you're having a good Monday. I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement. I've been getting a lot of comments about the mix of the astrology with the tarot, and a lot of you are very interested in learning more about how to interpret astrological aspects. So over the next month or two, I'm going to start creating videos going through natal chart interpretations, the essential dignities, house placements, and different aspects between the planets. And I'm going to use this with my own birth chart, and it's going to be a little personal at times, but I think it'll be very instructive for all of you to see how I go about interpreting a natal chart. With that said, I'm also going to start doing planets in the houses. What do they mean? The different aspects, the dignities that come with it, and the different themes that come out of it. So people can start understanding in their own chart what it is they could expect if they have a Venus in Scorpio or Venus in Taurus, Saturn sitting in the 8th or Saturn sitting in the 1st, Pluto sitting on your ascendant, things like that. So you can understand that when we talk about these aspects in the tarot reading, you can understand how they might affect you personally. So look forward to that. I'm working on that right now. I'm thinking about how I want to go about doing this. I'm going to continue to do the tarot readings as well. I think a lot of it is beneficial for all of us, and this channel is really here to help the collective. And just so all of you know, I've been divulging a little bit more personal information as I do more of these videos because I think it's helpful for people to understand how the planets and the tarot affect me personally, and you guys can see personal examples of this. So I talk a little bit more about that, and it's just about being in tune to those energies and understanding the synchronicities of life with the planets and the tarot as they come up. Some things are really, really subtle, and the more in tune you become to this, the better your understanding is, the more spiritual you become, and it creates an awakeness and an awareness for you to really harness the energy and point it in the right direction and understand when there's positive, challenging influences in our lives. So I'm going to be doing these videos probably starting next week sometime. I'm hoping I can have a little bit more time next week. But, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about myself. I'm 35, single, living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the United States. I'm here with my coonhound, Casey. He's over here on the couch doing his own thing right now, but he does occasionally show up on the videos if he's being a little needy and wants some attention. During the day, I'm a lawyer, so I've been practicing, kind of practicing. I work for a financial institution, but I've been doing that for the last 7 years. I've been out of law school for about 10. So that's a little bit about me, and I've been interested in tarot and astrology for over a decade. So I've been studying astrology for well over 10 years now, trying to understand my own birth charts. I have some very interesting things in mind, and that's kind of what got me started. And I've been doing tarot readings for friends, family for well over 6 years. And to be honest, I started this channel because of a bad relationship. And I've been pretty open about that. I've had many good and bad relationships over my time, as I'm sure many of you have as well. That's what a lot of people are attracted to this channel, because of love and relationships, and that's what gets people involved in the mystical and occult arts. I'm no exception. So the pandemic hit. I was seeing someone that I thought could go the distance, and it turns out he was involved with someone else, attached to someone else, and it really broke my heart, to be quite honest. And it just kind of took my own astrological and tarot practice to a different level. I've been taking it much more seriously, and I thought, maybe this is a really good time to start helping other people out, because I understood that other people go through this all the time too, and they need healing and help to work through some of these issues. It could be psychological, it could be things happening in your natal chart that are temporary or long-term, and how to navigate some of that. So the intent is really to help people out here to find healing and balance through relationships. And what does that all mean? And this journey of life throws a lot of things at us at any one time. Sometimes we go through extreme highs. Sometimes we go through extreme lows. Hopefully most of the time it's somewhere in the middle. And we can balance the two out somehow. So That was just a little bit about me and the reason why I'm doing this channel, and it's been picking up steam. It's going to be on Times, Forbes, The Atlantic. In 2025, it might be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize someday too, because of all of the work that I do with all of you. So, kidding. I'm a Capricorn. We have that dry sense of humor. And I have one viewer in particular, God bless her, I love her to death, that says I'm way too serious. And that's not all that Capricorn energy coming out. So I'll let you guys see my sense of humor a little bit more. I won't be so serious on camera so much. But anyway, yeah, so... and the reason why I picked love and relationships is I have the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Neptune in Capricorn. My Sun and Venus are exactly conjoined. They are Cazimi, and that's a very special placement, and it happens to be in my 7th house of relationships. So a lot of my natal chart is centered around love, relationships, partnerships, business relationships. And that's where the sun's pointing. And I'm a Cancer rising, so I have this dual nature to me where I'm very intuitive. I have family full of Cancers, so we all kind of go through the same thing at the same time. It's very weird how we talk to each other, and we're all going through something very similar, but in different contexts. So I see what's happening with Cancer a lot. I have obviously a very strong connection with Capricorn, having 4 planets sitting over there, and then my Venus Cazimi at the 28th degree of Capricorn. It's toward the end. And that particular degree is important because that's where Mars is exalted. So there's this weird interplay in my life between masculine and feminine energies. Obviously, I'm doing this tarot and astrology YouTube channel, and the majority of my viewers are females. So I have a strong pull toward females, and being a male and going through relationships of my own and understanding the male psyche, I think I can offer some really big and helpful advice for people going through heartbreak, engagements, trying to figure things out psychologically. All of those things really do come into play here. So I have a very strong Venusian chart, and on top of it, my moon is in Taurus within the first 10 degrees, and that's also a very potent area for Venus. So I have Venus is very, very strong in my chart, so it has a lot to do with beauty, love, cooperation, negotiation, friendship, and you can see this in my own life. So at work, I'm a relationship manager, but hybrid lawyer. So it has a lot to do with negotiating. It has a lot to do with cooperation, relationships, relationship building. And I do this channel. So you can see just career-wise how this plays out. And then, in relationships, you would think Venus Cazimi, the Sun and Venus coming together, blending of sorts at the exalted degree of Mars in Capricorn. It really highlights relationships just generally. So, and I'm going to talk more about this when I do my own natal chart interpretation for you. And I'm going to put up the chart and everything and walk through it with you so you can actually see it when you go to take a look at your own and how you can start interpreting all of this. But so some astrologers would say that Venus Cazimi is actually combust, and it means you have a lot of issues in relationships, a lot of karmic lessons in relationships, and that's not necessarily untrue. I think I've gone through plenty of my own, for sure. But Venus Cazimi also has another, it brings a lot of healing, and it brings a lot of cooperation and negotiating, and it has Venusian qualities to it in the chart that you're kind of here to serve a different purpose in a way. And Oprah Winfrey is a good example of this. She has Venus Cazimi in her chart, and look at what she does for women with her channel and her magazine, and what she's done over the course of her career overall. So it's kind of a spokeswoman, a spokesperson, so to speak, for women's issues and helping women out overall, understanding the course of their nature. So, obviously I'm male, so it's a little bit different in that respect. I come with a little bit of a different perspective, but I think you'll see that this channel is going to grow. I intend to put a lot of time and energy and investment into this for you guys. So I really appreciate the comments that come in. I know some of you just want to see the tarot. Now, you don't care about the astrology quite as much, and that's fine. You can skip over the astrology part if you'd like. There's nothing wrong with that. the tarot portion will always be there, but I think the two really do go hand in hand. A lot of the cards in the tarot are based in astrology, and astrology is much, much older than the tarot. So if you can understand the astrology of your own chart, if you can understand the astrology of what's happening in the sky at the time, it brings life to the cards. It brings more meaning to those cards. And you can dig deeper into what's really going on and areas of focus. So I think the two should go hand in hand. I think some of the best YouTubers out there are able to mix and blend the two to really help people out and to guide them in that right direction. So I appreciate everyone that enjoys that portion of the reading. Some of you don't like it, that's fine. There's other tarot card readers out there for you if you don't like it, or you can just skip over that portion. But I don't need any comments about how I talk 10 minutes about the astrology and I do a 6-minute reading, because the two are supposed to be hand in hand. Sometimes what's happening in the sky is more important. And I got to make that decision based on what's happening for each individual sign. So sometimes there's not a lot happening in love with some of the signs. Other times there's a lot happening in love in the sky for the signs, and I got to talk about that so people are aware of it. So just be respectful in that nature. But I am going to do these. I'm going to do a little bit more of the astrology. And I'll do some individual videos. So if you just want to look at the tarot, it'll be there. For those of you that want to learn more about astrology, I'm going to start doing that for you as well. I'm in the process of becoming a certified astrologer right now. So I'm hoping that lends some credibility to all of you. And it's a course based on ancient astrology. And of course there's modern astrology too. And what I try to do is really mix the two. And give you both perspectives. And then I add in some of the Vedic astrology as well for those of you that are interested in the Indian practice. So I do try to bring up some of that, but I do use Western astrology for the most part. I won't go into some of the sidereal aspects, but every once in a while I think it will be important to mention where the planets are on the sidereal chart. So again, I'm going to try and mix it up as much as I possibly can so you have additional perspective wherever you can. I think this is supposed to be a channel of knowledge and taking the messages that resonate with you so you can practice them out in the real world. And how do you practice astrology? And we'll talk about that. And it's and the planets grabbing you, so to speak, because they're known as grahas in Indian astrology. So, and I talk about my personal stuff all the time. I mentioned last week I got into a car accident as the T-squares between Venus and Mars and Saturn and Uranus were perfecting last week, and I happened to be in my second house of possessions and my 8th house of upheaval and insurance and lump sums. So I try to demonstrate as much as I can in my own life, being aware of that so you guys can understand how it could potentially come up in yours. So let me know if you think what you think about this. I think a lot of people will enjoy the astrology portion of it. And again, there'll be separate videos for this. I'm going to keep the astrology a part of the tarot readings though. And I do focus on the major aspects that come up. Sometimes there's minor aspects that come into, and it's not that they're not important. I think it's the bigger ones that people really need to know about. So I want to let you all know that's what's coming up for this channel. Continue to share this channel, tell people about it, because it does help it out if you want. It keeps me going essentially for me to keep doing this, because I do have a day job and I got Casey to take care of and friends and family and everybody else. So I try to do as much as I possibly can for you guys, but the channel's doing really well. And I want to continue to do this for you. So I'm also going to leave my PayPal link in the description box below. Now, if you guys want to make donations to help the channel, that would be great. As small or as large as you want. If there's a particular reading that's really resonating with you, and if you just want to continue to view these channels, you don't have to make a donation by any means. Just send a prayer for me, send me some positive vibes so I can continue to do this and produce quality videos for all of you. So it's an option if you want it, but otherwise, obviously, I will take your positive vibes. So let me know what you think about this upcoming. I'm going to do some, like I said, planets in the houses, the essential dignities, which is actually probably the most important part of astrology, and where the planet's sitting and which house. And it can be a complicated analysis at times, and other times it's straightforward. But I think this will help all of you, and you're going to get to see my natal chart soon. So I'm going to be working on that. You guys can see, and I'll give you personal examples of what I've seen over the course of my 35 years. It's been a very interesting story as a Capricorn Sun. Generally speaking, we go through a lot of trials and tribulations, so to speak, early on in age. I'm no exception to that. But through a lot of that difficulty, I've come to a lot of good success in understanding myself, and it led me down a very spiritual path. So I'm grateful for all of those trying times in my life. And there's going to be more. Like, that's just part of life, right? I just had that car accident last week. So it's the journey, and it's understanding the journey and understanding themes and archetypes of the houses and the planets and how they could potentially come up in your life. And once you start consciously tapping into that energy, you start noticing this stuff more often, and you can say, wow, I'm interacting with the deities of our solar system. And when I have a Mercury moment, I'm like, oh, I'm interacting with Mercury, I'm interacting with the deities, I'm having a spiritual moment. If I have something really beautiful happen to me, or someone comes into my life, I'm having a very Venusian moment, and I'm interacting with the deity of Venus. So it is a spiritual practice in a way, and I'll show you how I do it. And there's obviously other ways of doing this too, and I'm always interested to hear how you guys, how you use these videos in your personal lives, because I want to make it more useful for you. I think the tarot readings are always very useful. You get that quick insight. But I think the planets, for the most part, they can tell you a lot more. And that's just my personal opinion about this. But I think it's really nice to have the tarot to get down into some of those nitty-gritty details. So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to be starting the mid-month readings today. I'm going to be starting with the water signs. I usually start with the water signs only because you guys tend to have more viewers. So as soon as the air signs and my earth signs catch up, we might mix that up a little bit. But for right now, I always pretty much start with my water signs, because I have the most viewers, and you guys are probably the most intuitive. Not that saying that you guys, the other signs, the other elements aren't intuitive, because you're here watching this video. But for whatever reason, my Cancer is not my Cancer rising. You guys always pretty much get the most. So I always start with Cancer, and I'm a Cancer rising. So they get a little bit preferential treatment. So not that I don't love you all, but my Cancers are near and dear to my heart, and it's a lot of Cancer in my family, like I mentioned. So I usually start with them. All right, so leave a comment. Let me know what you think about doing the planets and the houses and the essential dignities. I'm interested to hear how this all goes, and if it goes well, we'll continue to do it. If it kind of falters, well, I'll maybe change some things up and see if I can get more interest in it. So hope you're all doing well. Happy Monday. We're in the middle of Cancer season right now. Get near water. We have Venus, Mars, and the Moon all conjoined in Leo right now. Leo is ruled by the Sun. This is part of the essential dignities. The Sun right now is sitting over in Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign. So get near water. It's nice out. Leo is fun, expressive, dramatic, lighthearted energy. Leo rules the heart, so it's very romantic too. So it's time to actually get out and have some fun and be near people again. And COVID is hopefully coming to an end. Some weird things happening again with that Delta strain, but hopefully we can all see each other, our loved ones, and get out there. And if you're looking for love, it's a good time to start doing that. If you're looking to take your relationship to the next level, it's a great time to start doing that as well. So definitely get out there. All right, so water signs, you're up next. They will be posted at some point today as I have time to do the readings, and I hope to see you all soon. Take care.